Boy, I sure love to hear that growl. I know you're glad to hear that growl back once again after a long break for the Three Bears podcast. We'd like to welcome you to our pod for this new, I guess, second season of the Three Bears podcast. We want to help you navigate and balance your life and ministry. I'm Dad. I'm Jason Abear, and we also have with us today
Parker.
That's right.
And
I don't know how everyone's screen is.
yeah, he's Parker.
That's right.
I mean, it also has their names in the boxes. So
It does. That's right. I'm, of course, the dad. These are the boys. And we're excited to be back and sharing with you the things that have been going on as we've been off. We've had an incredible summer and things turned on a dime for the Bear Boys, as we were known at Next Camp as the Bear Boys Rec Crew. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes, but there are some massive changes that have happened since we last met, since we last had our podcast. We want to kind of share with you some life updates for the guys and for even myself, and kind of go over our summer shenanigans, all the fun stuff that we got to do and got to experience. Then we're going to try and answer one spiritual question to the best of our ability. Again, we want to always try and help you guys as you listen kind of navigate. It's a really difficult thing to balance life and ministry. So you want to try and help you navigate those changes, navigate and balance your life and your ministry. So again, it's good to be back. I know the boys have got a lot to share. We got a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about, and I'm excited to be back doing this with everyone. So let's start talking about some of the big changes. All three of us have had pretty incredible life changes since our last pod. Um, all of us have had changes. I'm still here in Lafayette, Louisiana, planning Acadiana Baptist Church. Really blessed with that. But for the last 7 years, I've been coaching middle school ball, and a door of opportunity opened up at a local high school, Westminster Christian Academy, to coach defensive line and be the assistant coach for running backs and quarterbacks. And the Lord just kind of opened the door, and I made that jump to the high school level. Literally, as I made the jump to the high school level, about three practices in, I was just helping the team return kicks, not trying to be, Tyreek Hill or anything like that, but I reared back, caught the ball on the bounce, and felt like I had been literally shot. I honestly thought I'd been shot. I felt the pain in my ankle as I planted my right foot to move forward and throw the ball back. And I felt an explosion in my heel. I started falling uncontrollably. I didn't know what happened. Thought had literally been, I heard a shot, felt a shot, thought I was dying. Landed, my foot was like this, what it was. And the boys knew this would happen.
That's,
There it
that's
is.
that.
Here, boys. Screenshot that. You know, he was coming. I had a full rupture of my Achilles tendon. This is my ride. I'm pretty sure we've got a blooper you guys are going to see at some point.
Got brakes. Oh.
As we were getting ready to start the pod. So I'm on a scooter, non-weight bearing on my ankle for about 3 weeks, or 3 months rather. I wish it was 3 weeks. It's my driving foot, and it's just awful. So that's been one big change for me and what's been going on in my life. But anyway, it's been a joy. We're thankful for everybody's prayers and all, but we're gonna make it through this. But the boys have big changes too, and so Parker, why don't you kind of go, or let's see, whose change happened first? I guess Peyton's change kind of happened first. Let's do
yeah,
Peyton first. And Peyton, why don't you go and share with us your big change, your big update?
Yeah, so I am no longer in Lafayette. I'm not with mom and dad anymore. I am in Hamburg, Arkansas, which is, you may be like, where in the world is that? You go to Monroe, then you go about an hour north. Is pretty much where I'm at. I'm in the middle of a bean field. I'm the youth pastor at Promised Land Missionary Baptist Church. It's been an absolute blessing. We're running so far on Wednesday nights. We've had about 64 to 65 around in that range. Since I've been here for about the past month, we've had, I think, 10 kids saved. That's for the youth 6 to 12. We've done a lot. It's been fun. It hasn't been exhausting. I've actually loved every single second of it. I get to kind of put everything that happened on the mission field and what we all did there and kind of put that into play here at Promised Land. I took over all the social media, and I'm in, my new house, and it's been awesome. It's been a blessing. The church family here is great. I kind of grew up in this church in a little way. They saw me kind of grow up.
Yeah.
We are here every now and then. And I've not once, regretted coming here or moving, and it's my new home. So that's the biggest change for me so far.
Yeah.
It's been moving up here.
Oh, you also started school, right? You dropped out of college.
Yeah.
Ah,
They make fun of me because I always made fun of them. Because
not me.
Parker has a real degree. Dad, I always called it a glorified vacation Bible school degree. But I currently enrolled at that glorified vacation Bible school. I'm like a first and second year, kind of a hybrid student because I've got my college Englishes done. So I turned my back on my coaching degree, and now I'm pursuing a theology degree from LMBIS in Minden. So
Right, that's right. Yeah, another change for me too. I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm enrolled in the Master of English Bible program at Texas Baptist Institute, trying to get my accredited degree so I can have a degree just like both of y'all. The catch is mine will be a master's degree, so I'll be above Parker in those regards, but still way below Maddie as she gets that doctorate. So, but anyway, as far as the Three Bears, I will be technically the most educated, which I already know that is what I am. But anyway,
you're saying he's the most educated from our father, who thinks he is Tavon Austin returning kicks. So
big books, big books. They cannot lie. All right. Okay. Go ahead, Parker. Fill us in on your big change. It's been huge change for you and Maddie as well.
Well, Peyton moved up to Arkansas, which was cool to have my brother 3 hours away. And I was thinking, oh, that this is gonna be great. Well, then as soon as that happened, I took a church job down in Louisiana. So I came back down. So I'm back in central Louisiana. I'm in Pineville, Louisiana, and doing the same thing I did at Sharon, just a little bit more involved on the ground floor of everything because I'm kind of in a worship. Well, I'm still a worship and media pastor, but also being more on the administrative side as far as I'm doing hospital visits and I'm doing more like going to like. I mean, I was already going to all the funerals, so it's more of a admin media, and then I do worship.
Yeah.
On the side thing. So it is more of a pastoral role instead of a worship pastor role. So as far as like the pastoral requirements. And so I'm doing that, working a lot, updating the website, trying to rebrand the whole building because they've had the same logo for, I don't know, probably 15 years and it's old. And so I was like, hey, we want to rebrand? He's like, sure. I'm like, okay. So
Great.
working on media a lot. Before we got on this, I was editing our website. I mean, anytime I get a little idea, I'm like, all right, let me go do it. So learn how to pace myself because like I worked for like 12 hours one day,
Yeah.
which was it was fine, but it was like the next day I was like, oh shoot, I still got to go to work.
Yeah. That's right.
And then
Well, y'all still have some
so
great you're still involved. I mean, their main thing on Sundays is still leading worship and leading the
yeah,
praise team. Of course, that's still I think that's still a bulk of
hmm
the visible
yeah.
work that people see, right?
Yeah,
So,
and it helps because I have a worship associate on staff with us. So she's doing a lot of the stuff that takes a lot of the time as far as like getting core charts out and um like just getting those out to people to and getting all the papers ready for Sunday and printing bulletins and cutting bulletins. She's doing a lot of that like admin not secretary work. So I am still leading worship, but I'm able to get more on the pastoral side of everything.
That's awesome. Hey, real quick, do you have any people that want to update their websites? Or you and I've talked about this. Quick shout out or recommendation for anybody to follow, maybe in a podcast to
Oh,
great resources.
Brady Shearer.
follow. Took it right out my mouth. Yeah, follow Brady Shearer. He's a great resource, and then get in a bunch of groups of church creatives because you'll see things on like Facebook that some things work on a big scale, like they're having 4 services a weekend. Like I know a lot of church creatives and the big churches in Arkansas, New Life Church, the Summit Church. Those are the big main campus churches that have like holding 17,000 people on a weekend in services.
Right.
It's they have like 4 or 5 services a weekend. It's crazy across. Like I know those guys, and I know all the creatives over there, and I'm watching what they're doing with their websites. I mean, just even here's something that I've learned. Even though I might not agree theologically with some things that some non-denominational churches, or even Assembly of God, or some Pentecostal churches, I can still go on their website and be like, "Oh, they've got cool stuff that I can implement in the Baptist way that will move us forward." Which that's
Like,
that's a
yeah.
freebie,
You
you
mean
know. So
like a plan your visit page on their website or things like
yeah,
yeah, stuff like that, right? Of course.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
what we've kind of learned, and like kind of because we both kind of come from churches that like never really knew about social media or knew like how to upgrade it, which never that's what all we've been doing with at ABC is because we kind of had to being a mission work. It was
Right.
kind of publicizing. So like what I do is I found some of like the biggest churches that are kind of known that have people who are just full-time media. And I'm like, oh, I really like that idea. And I just kind of implement it in the way that our viewership would grow. And I got an update yesterday on our youth page, just our youth page. In the past 7 days, we've reached over 800 people.
That's awesome.
And
Mhm.
on our church page, I've been posting reels and videos, especially for invites for revival. And we have over 3,500 views on each video.
Yeah.
And there's only 3,500 people in Hamburg.
Yeah.
So that means it's
Mhm.
reaching a lot of people. And of course, people have been like, I watched that video 50 times. And I'm like, well, that's great, but that kind of gives me an inaccurate number. But
Yeah.
it's been great. We have a
Well,
church that shares stuff like crazy.
well, y'all
Mhm.
y'all are y'all both have two avid watchers in Lafayette. We're really proud of both of you guys. Your mom and I really watch and pay a lot of attention to what you guys are doing. It makes us very proud to what you guys are up to and y'all's weekly and daily shenanigans that y'all have going on. Speaking of shenanigans, we got to do something really awesome this summer. The three of us got to serve at Next Camp as the Bear Boys rec crew with Peyton was our leader, and I was the old guy. Parker was the energy in a lot of ways, and so we had a lot of fun. I have this Cindy, the boy's mom, and my beautiful wife. She made us this little mirror or glass figure here that I keep on my desk. We took that picture in the middle of Arkansas with all of our LSU shirts on and our canes. We were really proud of that. If you guys are just kind of listening along to our pod, you don't get to see that pic, but we had a great time, man. Peyton really filled us in. So summer shenanigans aside from next camp, was there anything else really that we did, guys, that y'all can think of? I mean, I know I camped.
LOL.
Yeah, we haven't talked to LOL. That's right, Parker. We were all together for LOL. I
Yeah.
did. I know 3 out of 4 weeks in July. I was at a church camp, our family camp. We did. I was the camp evangelist at Camp Glenwood, Thrive Youth Camp, and then we were all at Next Camp together. So twice at Bog, once at Camp Glenwood. We did Love on Lafayette. The boys came down and helped. Any big memories that you guys have that y'all want to share? Any great
Uh,
things?
well, I know for me, like the Friday or the Thursday or Friday before I had left to move to come up here to Lafayette, I had my last game coaching at Lafayette High.
Right.
And
Sure did.
it was a pretty memorable way to go out, if I'm being honest.
Mhm.
I mean, you go into penalty kicks, very end of the game, and it's like your faith is completely in these boys and in these kids. And we came out with the win, which was one of the best ways that I could ever think to go out. I know some of our boys actually watch this, so miss
That's
you boys,
awesome.
and I'll be keeping up with y'all this season. So
Yeah, it's gonna be great, man. It's exciting to see those kids go on and succeed. We got kids at several levels that are playing,
yeah,
some schools in the area that are playing. So as I
cool.
scoot around, I get to go watch. I think there, if it doesn't rain, there's a possibility I might be going out to Acadiana tonight to watch some of our boys playing at Acadiana at
Got
football.
Dominic at LSU.
Big Dom's at LSU. Darius came out last night and saw us at our game. It was good to see Darius. So kids just gotten massive. So really excited about that. LSU plays Sunday
Sunday.
in Las Vegas. And I love Wilkin. We've jumped the shark to a whole nother topic, I know, but Will Campbell
I don't
made
know
a
any of these people.
Listen,
Will,
look, if you're an Arkansas fan and you're watching this, don't click off because we're talking about LSU.
that's right. Stay, because this is a
Thanks.
great quote for any
We're
school.
we're about to get into something spiritual. So
We
we're
will.
chill.
Just hang tight, I
Give
promise.
us a second.
Give us a second to kind of go over LSU. Will Campbell said, "We're going to Las Vegas, not to go to Caesar's Palace. We're going for a fist fight." And I was like, that's such an offensive lineman way to look at things. So that's really, really cool. Kind of geeking out there playing USC in Las Vegas. So it's going to be a great time. Anyway, let's move away from the sports aspect. We want to try and keep our pod down to a certain time limit this year for this season, be more on task about things. But appreciate you guys listening along, just kind of following along with kind of what we've been doing. This season, we do promise more guests to join with us, getting family involved. Our biggest episode still was because the most popular person in our family is obviously Cindy, the boys' mama and my wife. We could have made a top 300 Spotify playlist that day, I think. Probably not top 300, but
300 maybe that day.
maybe that day, yes. But anyway, so guys, here's our spiritual question to help you navigate life and ministry, navigate and balance life and ministry. What we have dealt with this past summer has been change, incredible change, huge life change. I mean, changes, literally moving locations, changing vocations, making decisions that are going to create more changes. And so I'm kind of curious, fellas, how, you know, Peyton, you had a big change literally stepping out on your own. Parker's already been out on his own for a while, but he had a change that was going to affect him and Maddie in the initial, and with him moving to Pineville while she's finishing in Arkansas, her PT degree, her doctorate, um, which I'm really looking forward to getting Maddie's advice on rehab and things more and more. But Peyton, you were kind of leaving the nest in a sense, and what were some of the fears that you had to overcome? Tell us how it all came about. I know this all kind of started from a conversation. It's always been in your heart, but kind of started a conversation at the national meeting and kind of the fears that you had to overcome. Why don't you go and
Yeah.
share some of that with us?
So I was asked if I wanted to come up here to Hamburg, pretty much the first week of first or second week of June.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I was like, absolutely no way. Because I was going to UL, I was halfway done with my degree. I wanted to get my degree and then figure out what I wanted to do after that. So originally I told Brother Josh, who's our head pastor here at Promised Land, I was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not really thinking about it. Well, then I went to church camp and there was a sermon preached that Thursday night. And I just got really burdened about it. I kind of broke down and it was the whole way home, I was miserable. I didn't really know what I was thinking about. And then that conversation with Brother Josh popped into my head, and Promised Land was just on my mind. It was just on my heart. And kind of and then I came up here to visit. I literally was just like, I'm just going to come and just see what the church is like. And then that day turned into a questioning that afternoon, turned into a questioning that night. And it was awesome. I mean, it was everything that I could have imagined. But the fears that I had were, one, how in the world am I going to be able to live without mom and dad? That was one of the things that I was like, well, I was scared about leaving the mission because I was, us three together, we were a big part. We all worked together really well. So it's like, are they going to be okay? Our mom and dad can be fine. And overcoming that, honestly, wasn't really that hard whenever I just gave it to God completely.
Yeah.
And I understood that no matter how bad I think this situation is, God already knows how it's going to play out in the end. And whenever I kind of adapted that and I figured it out, it was like, okay, all the scared feeling that you're having, the emotions you're having, I've already got it all taken care of. And then I just surrendered completely and was like, I'm going to do it. And I moved up here. And then living on your own is a little bit different. You have to cook for yourself and clean for yourself and do everything for yourself, which has not really been that. It's not really been that bad. My thing has been I've just been keeping myself busy because I know if I let my mind wander, and I'm just like, well, I'm here and I'm alone, kind of besides the church family, obviously. Then I just go back to not being there with mom and dad, and I go back to not being there at home and being with all my boys, coaching them. So staying busy and realizing that not everything has to be done in a day was one of the hardest things that I had to overcome too. Because I had all these ideas and I still have pages of ideas and notes for stuff that I want to see Promised Land do in the future, especially the youth. And realizing that I don't have to accomplish all this right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So would it be safe to say that one of the ways that you kind of felt God was leading was just an overwhelming sense of this? It just wouldn't leave you alone. It's kind of eating at you in your heart. You just
Absolutely.
felt that need.
It was
And
one of those things. It was one of those things where I felt like I was incomplete.
Yeah.
Because it originally started as I don't have a desire to go to school in the fall.
Yeah.
Back to UL. I didn't have a desire to do that. And the other thing was I have a passion to take what I've been doing coaching wise and then apply it to ministry. And it's really been working out. So that feeling just didn't go away. It just kept nagging at me and nagging at me. It's like, you need to do something more. And I kind of was always in my comfort zone in Lafayette, if I'm being honest. I was in a situation where we were kind of thriving. I was with mom and dad. I didn't really have to do a whole lot, to be honest. So getting out of my comfort zone and giving complete control to God is what helped me.
Yeah. I remember you came to me and mom maybe 6 months, a year before, and mentioned that that God's calling you to do something, but you were worried about leaving us because you're worried what would literally happen to us. And I know it was a huge burden that literally, like the weekend after you move, I had this Achilles rupture, and you being here would be a massive help. I ain't gonna lie. But it's not what God called you to, and it was it was a proof to me and your mother that we can't depend on the boys. No, they would be here, and y'all both would be here in a heartbeat. And Parker came down because he was close, and came down that when I came home from surgery, and that was a huge help. Put together my scooter and all, but managing this difference with having to rely on somebody else to drive has been hard. But it's forced your mom and I to do that, and that's an important thing for us. But man, I appreciate your perspective, and we're proud of you, as we said. Parker, I don't know if Maddie's close, or gotten around or not, but I know that you guys have got a huge change, and I'm not going to say challenge. It's just a distance thing, which can be a challenge, but being able to navigate your change, knowing the sacrifice that it was going to take for both of y'all to live apart for a certain amount of time, because it's not going to be until 1st of December when Maddie can come back towards Louisiana and y'all can live close. How is navigating the issue of sacrifice and even deciding that it's the right time? How did you navigate that issue?
Well, just so for the people that don't know and think, well, he just said that Maddie and Parker are living together. Are they separated? No, we're not separated. We're not.
Exactly, right.
Yeah, just to clarify where we're at. Maddie has to finish her rotations in Arkansas, because she already scheduled them out, I think about a year ago. Because a year ago at the time, we were in Arkansas for, at least until she finished her degree. That's where we at the time felt led to be. You know, I was working at Sharon, I was doing what I loved, and but we knew at some point, probably after she finished um her rotations up in Arkansas when she graduated with her doctorate, you know, we wanted to be home. You know, we both separately, without, you know, talking with each other, we both had the desire to be closer to home.
Yeah.
Pineville is where we met. It's in between, well, it's where Maddie's parents are from, and my parents are obviously in Lafayette, about an hour and a half down south. So it's close to family because, of course, once grandkids get involved, eventually down the line, a while from now, um, a while from now, um, you know, we want to be near them because it's very helpful. Um, and so, separately, we just didn't know when the timing would be. When would we move back? And I mean, so how it all happened is my pastor, Kevin Roberts, he was giving my name from three separate different people, and you know, we just got to talking, and it's like, well, this isn't, you know, a prayer to a solution. This is an answered prayer. It's not in the timing we'd like. We'd like it 6 months or a year from now, but
Yeah,
um,
let me jump in real quick because I know you want to make that very, very clear to some listeners that might be in Central Arkansas. You didn't seek out this position, it sought you out. And I know you want
yeah,
to make that very clear, don't you?
yeah, and I mean, part of that decision was having, well, you know, this was an open door that has sought me out. It's not something that um was planned. I mean, we had planned, which, you know, we planned it'd be down the road, you know, where we'd have more time to, um, you know, kind of set our feet and figure out what's next. And, but this one opened up and, you know, I was like, well, I got to step through the door. But I mean, the first part of it has been, well, for, you know, 3 to 4 months, we're going to see each other every other weekend just because it's a 10-hour drive round trip for her just to come and see me. And Maddie does a Monday through a Thursday, 4 10-hour shifts. And so it's like no lunch break. She's going crazy. And it's just not worth it for her to come back on a Thursday night to turn around on a Sunday for 10 hours. And that's not sustainable for 3 months. And so we made the decision to, if there's like a holiday, obviously come home. If it's like a long weekend, come home, but let's do every other weekend. Just because sacrificially, of course, I want her to be with me, but I can't go up there because obviously I have a job on Sunday mornings. So we just, you know, figured out that here's what's gonna work, and honestly, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna suck for a little bit, but we know it ends in December. She'll still have some rotations in North Louisiana, but she'll be able to come home every other weekend. And it's just like working a normal job. So she'll um yeah, it's hard navigating the sacrifice, but in the long-term goal or where we want to be, we didn't know it'd be this soon.
Yeah.
Um, but we know that this season is going to be tough and rough, but once it's all done, we're going to be set up for our future of
Yeah.
how we I kind of planned. It just
Absolutely.
didn't know it'd be this soon.
You know, the Bible talks about our seasons, that our temptations and trials are but for a season. And in those seasons, we learn so much. And whether it be a season of change, like we endured here in Lafayette, a season of overcoming fear, like Peyton endured, or a season of sacrifice, like you and Maddie are going through, are seasons where we learn so many lessons, not only about ourselves, but lessons about God and his faithfulness. And I'm thankful for a faithful God because with every one of those sacrifices and opportunities are God's blessings and his presence right around those corners. He's always been there and he's always there through it all. But we're thankful for his presence in all those circumstances. But the joy of coming through those valleys of overcoming and of temptation and of trial and sacrifice, you know, we're always stronger and better off for it. So listen, we're going to kind of shut things down at this time. Super thankful you guys have stuck around and joined with us. One of the other big changes we all hope, well, us three hope, and we hope you hope as well, is that we continue regularly with our Three Bears podcast, hopefully weekly, if not bi-weekly, every 2 weeks rather. And if you are enjoying what we have, please share our podcast, like it, subscribe to it through our YouTube channel. And we appreciate it. Peyton and Parker do a lot of hard work behind the scenes, putting this thing together, and their technology and proficiency. It's
Oh,
more
Peyton.
Peyton. It is. But I was trying to give Parker some. We're the talent.
Absolutely not.
Peyton, Parker and I are the talent, I guess, and Peyton is the power behind the machine.
If nobody's noticed, I'm the brains of the bunch. This is what they were my assistants.
Easy college dropout. Easy, okay? Here we go.
All right. All right.
Have a great day. We love you guys. Thanks for joining with us, and we'll catch y'all next time. Bye.